So I don't know about you, but I personally don't buy into this concept that you have to wake up early in order to be successful. However, you guys, I've been testing out this new identity and it's day 4 of me becoming a morning person. And let me tell you, I already have so much to share and to reflect on. And it's in no way going to be convincing you to wake up early. That's not what this is. But I am kind of like obsessed with human behavior, specifically my own, and analyzing what I need to do to become the best version of myself and how I can do that in a way that feels light and easy. And you might remember I did an episode, it was episode 138, kind of about the morning routine for non-morning people. And that is all still very much relevant and applicable to my everyday life. So this is almost like an evolution, an ascension into a new identity. And I can't wait to share with you guys some of my takeaways just 4 days in. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. I help creative business owners and artists build communities around your brand so that business is easy and profitable. When you stay in action, yes, I mean even messy action, only good things happen. We are always learning, and when we can get just as excited about the lessons as the results, magic happens. I've helped million-dollar companies with their marketing, but my mission in this world is to help you step into the best possible version of yourself so you can create your dream business too. We believe in community and people over strategies and tactics. Our theme here at the Messy Success Podcast is the 1% adventure, where we're focusing on getting 1% better every single day. I want you to color outside the lines and embrace the messy journey to take daily action towards your goals. If you've noticed a plateau in your business, we've created a very quick quiz where you can find out your next best move. Head over to elizabethhenson.co/next to find out. Now let's get started. Okay, so it is day 4 of me becoming a morning person, and I've been sharing about this on social media. I didn't really put a lot of pre-planning into it, but I knew going into this summer that this was something that I wanted to do. And a lot of that is for mental health reasons, not so much the physical health. I have been getting up and walking, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but this summer is hard for me. And I've told you guys about that here on the podcast, just balancing work and motherhood and, the guilt about when I'm working and the kids, need some stimulation. They need to be out doing things. And we decided not to put all 3 in summer camp because it really does me no good to just put 1 in camp, and then putting all 3 in camp is like we could buy a second mortgage for that. So it was just a decision that I made, and we're keeping them home. And I said, you know what, if I get up and get a head start on the day, because they're all, sleeping in at this point. They're, 5 is my youngest. And they're pretty good sleepers in the morning, and they're pretty good at self-entertaining in the morning. Usually by noon is like everyone's starting to get squirmy and like wants to go out and do something. So I was like, if I can get a head start on the day and not just roll out of bed when the first child wakes me up, because that's, what I've always done. And I'll naturally get up around 7, but and then I'll lay in my bed for a while. Like my husband brings me my coffee in bed. He's, amazing like that. But then I would be in my bed drinking my coffee. So even if it was 8, it's like I'm still kind of waiting for that first child to come get me before I would start my day. And I have been an entrepreneur now for 10 years. I left teaching in 2015, going into 2016, somewhere around then. And so you got to think I've been functioning without an alarm clock for about a decade. That's crazy to think about. Maybe a little less than that. Maddie's 9 and I was pregnant. I just found out I was pregnant with Maddie when I left teaching. So yeah, about a decade I have been functioning without an alarm clock. So this is a big deal that I am now, becoming this person that wakes up to an alarm clock. This is a big change for me. And I just knew if I could get up even just an hour before the kids, I would feel better, right? Having that time to think, having that time to really prioritize my day, to just have me time, whether it's silence or walking or meditation or reading, whatever it is, having my brain to myself, before that first child comes and needs something from me. So as much as I wanted to resist, I knew that was the answer. And I was kind of getting a little tired of my own obsession with slow mornings. I love slow mornings. Don't get me wrong. I feel like even waking up early, I'm still getting my slow morning. I'm just getting more out of it. It's crazy. So I knew that once we transitioned into summer, this was something I wanted to try to do. And what's kind of funny is that in January, I attended my friend's Megan's 2-day workshop, and we were kind of challenged to choose a new habit that we wanted to take on. And I just really couldn't think of anything at the time. So I chose waking up early, but I knew there was part of me that wasn't all in. I just knew I wasn't really mentally ready. So it wasn't something that I took on right away after the workshop. Now I did buy myself, the workshop did inspire me to buy, because I was like, what do I hate about mornings? And I hate that I can't see. I hate that it's so dark. And in the time it was the winter. Now it's not as dark, but I hate that. So I got myself one of those alarms that wakes you up with a sunrise. So it's this slow light that comes on. And I did treat myself to that in January. And that helped, a little bit in the worst parts of the winter. But honestly, I would just sleep through it most days with the light on. And Gracie, my oldest, will come and lay with me for 30 minutes every morning. And that's really special. I didn't want to break that routine midway through the school year, because it's just something as a mom that I really enjoy. She's 11. She doesn't want to hang out with me as much as she used to. And that 30 minutes, with her laying next to me just felt special. So I pretty much just decided to embrace that routine until the routine was kind of broken and summer started. So this has been the first week of summer. And ironically, my husband has been sick. So he's been home. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to make it easier or harder, but it's going to make it different, because once he gets back in his routine and he's going to the gym, he'll be long gone in the morning, even by the time I get up at 6. But I was like, you know what? I'm not using that as an excuse to put this off one more week. And I set my alarm, and I actually turned the volume on the alarm this time, but it's birds chirping. It's not an annoying alarm. So I have my sunrise that comes on and my birds that chirp, and I lay my clothes out for working out the night before. I make sure my headphones are set out. I do everything the night before, so that I'm literally jumping out of bed and just putting on my workout clothes and just going for a walk. And I'll reflect on that for a second. But there was 2 things that flipped this switch for me a few weeks ago, knowing that summer was coming, knowing that summer is a hard time for me mentally. There was 2 things. And the first one was, a few weeks ago, Maddie and I watched this Netflix documentary on sleep. And this is so silly, but this is how the smallest piece of information can help us rewire our brain. And we watched this documentary on sleep, and it was doing Mythbusters. And, this is by Headspace, which is a therapy app. So we'll call this a credible source. I'm sure there's so much mixed information out there. But one of the myths was that you can't get too much sleep. And while everyone is different and everyone does need a different amount of sleep, I was kind of buying into this belief of like more sleep is better. I was getting like 10 hours of sleep on a regular basis. On the weekends, it could be like as much as 12, maybe not 12, 11, but like 9 or 10 hours on a normal day. And it was like, you actually can get too much sleep. So I feel like it busted this, belief that I had that like, oh, getting so much sleep is so much better for me. But like, no, I was rolling out of bed, like lethargic. My body hurt. I was like starting my day so slow. And I felt like I needed like a boost in my productivity, my energy. And so that was one little thing. And that really kind of was like, made me second guess, kind of like my identity and the person that I was living into. And the second thing, my coach, James Wedmore, on social media shared, again, this tiny piece of information, and these can shift the way we believe. He shared about how easy it is. This is a really fun experiment to do, to wake up at any time you want to wake up. And he's, like, all you have to do is set an intention the night before. Very specifically, I am going to wake up at this time. And you'll probably wake up a few minutes before. And I know this has happened to you, like when you have to go to the airport at 5 a.m. and you're so afraid you're going to oversleep, so you just wake up before your alarm. Or like, how many times have you woken up before your alarm because you have to be somewhere, you're excited to go somewhere, or, it's a little different from your normal routine. And he was like, that's it. You set the intention very specifically before you go to bed and your body will wake up. And I was like, wow. Like, cause I know that's true. I'm the person that will wake up before my alarm when I have to be somewhere. Like I don't even usually hear my alarm. Even today, I woke up before my alarm because I very specifically am setting that intention that I'm waking up at 6 a.m. And I was like, okay, again, I was buying into this belief of like getting up is hard. And I wasn't setting an intention the night before ever. And even when I did, it wasn't that I needed to be out of my bed at a certain time. I was like, I'm just going to wake up around 6:30, but like give myself permission to just lay there. And like, that's not really helping anything. It's not really changing anything. So those two things like helped me kind of like buy into a new set of beliefs that had me more excited about waking up early. And then I just really started like thinking about the future and like living into it in my mind before I actually did it. And this is really helpful. And you guys have probably all done this when you're about to move, or you're leaving a relationship, or you're starting a new relationship, or you're starting a new job. It's like you're getting excited about this new future, and being excited about the new future means that you're actually already somewhat living into it. So I started like in my mind, not physically yet, like living into this new future where I get up and I have time before my kids wake up, and, I'm just getting ahead of my day and I'm extending my day and I'm working out because, I've done really well the last 2 years with my physical health, my mental health, but it has gotten more difficult as the kids have been doing more sports. My husband's working later in the evenings than he used to. And it's just gotten harder for me to like stick to that 3 to 4 p.m. workout time. We had a bonus kid coming home with us after school this year, so I didn't want to leave her, home alone with my kids. There's just so many reasons. It was just harder. And, naturally, because this was a routine that I had set for almost 2 years, it was getting easier for me to trust myself and like kind of fall off a little bit here and there, right? Not completely off. In the last 2 years, I've been very consistent, but haven't been working as hard as I would like to. So I was like, well, that'll be cool if like some mornings when I get up at 6, like I just work out. So long story short, this is day 4, and every single morning I've gone for a walk/jog. And I'm liking the physical movement a lot more than I thought I would. Like for me, the initial physical movement was like, let me just go. Because if I don't tell myself that I'm going anywhere, I'll just come downstairs in my pajamas and I'll drink my coffee and I, will read or scroll my phone or whatever. And that's great. But that's like not really, again, it's not really changing anything. But I wanted that movement, that physical movement. And it wasn't about like, let me go get the hardest run possible, or let me go work out and lift weights or go to yoga. And I may incorporate some of that eventually, but this was literally like, I'm just going to walk. And I have a really amazing friend and successful entrepreneur that I've chatted with, and he walks first thing every single morning. He's like, I even got the kind of shoes that you don't have to tie. He's like, I just slip my feet in and I get out the door and I walk. And he's like incredibly physically fit. And I was like, okay, like this is just life in our 40s. If we walk first thing in the morning, our body feels better. And it's so true. I get up so quickly that I don't have time to think about my knee pain or my back pain or feeling sluggish or feeling lethargic. I'm just throwing my clothes on and getting out the door, and I'm saving my coffee for after the walk. And I feel great. I really do. I'm very happy with it, just to have that brain space and that thinking time. And I've been sharing about it on social, just having fun, no attachment to the outcome, just getting a head start on my day. And my productivity has increased so much. Like from the time I walk in the morning and then I have my coffee, take a quick shower, whatever it might be, like I am straight up productive until probably at least 12 or 1. And then I'm ready to transition and go do something with the kids. And so far, so good. Like, I'm not going to shame myself or beat myself up if I decide to not do it one morning or 1 week over the summer or whatever that looks like. I mean, we have a beach vacation. I have weekend trips, all the things. But on a typical Monday through Friday where I'm working and Mark's working and I'm with the kids, this has been a game changer for my mental health. And it's not about losing weight. It's not about the exercise. It's about having that quiet time for just me. And it's been awesome. And I'm still doing all the routine in a box that I told you guys about in episode, 138. So that all still exists. And that doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. It can be during my coffee or during a work break. That's my gratitude journal and my silence. And, that is all still very much a thing. And I'm so excited about what this change is going to continue to bring and how I'm going to continue to feel. I mean, I've jogged 4 days in a row, which normally it's like 2 to 3 times a week. And I just feel so good. And one night we even went out with friends. So I stayed up kind of late, like 11, but I just didn't buy into the story of I'm going to be tired or I'm not going to get enough sleep. What I did do is say, you know what, like I don't have to walk fast today. I don't have to jog as fast today. I'm just getting up and I'm moving and that's it. And so I did take it a little bit easier after a little bit less sleep and feeling a little sluggish. But then today it's like I felt twice as good, right? It's like when you're working out a lot and you take that rest day and then you have a hard day. Anyways, I could ramble on forever. I absolutely love investigating and being really curious about my own habits and how I feel and how to continue in this pursuit of becoming the best version of myself that I can be. And, I feel like a lot of people on the outside looking in would be like, oh my gosh, like people like this are crazy. Like they get up and they exercise and they have a podcast and they do all these things. And it's like, it's not difficult. None of this is difficult. I will say sometimes like, oh, this feels hard or challenging, right? It's a challenge. It's uncomfortable, but it's not like difficult, like learning calculus. We just have to be really curious about ourselves and how we function best instead of trying to take on these strategies and identities of other people, because people have told me all my life, waking up early, you're more successful, do your workouts in the morning. People have told me this all my life, but I had to get curious and like become a detective about myself and what motivates me, what inspires me, what helps me take on a new identity. And it's not just being told something by someone else. It has to really flip a switch in our brain in a different way. That's neuroscience. So don't just take somebody's advice and think this is going to work for you and this is going to change everything because it worked for so-and-so. You have to really dissect it from the inside out. And, I say those two pieces of information changed it all for me, not because I'm saying, oh, this person does this, so it's going to work for me, but because it challenged a belief that I had. And I knew that's what was happening when I saw you can get too much sleep, when I saw all you have to do is set an intention the night before. It was challenging my current way of being, and I liked it. Because I was like, ooh, I have always kind of wanted to be someone that gets up early. Let's challenge my limited beliefs that are keeping me small. And I love that stuff. I love those moments that challenge me to think outside the box, that push me to be better. So I'm always looking for those moments. Right? I knew getting up early was something I would eventually want to take on and change on an identity level. I just had to wait till I was ready to receive it, till I was all in on changing my habit. And here we are. And I'm like, I'm human. Let's see what happens. It's only day 4. So of course I'm on this like high when you start a new diet or you start a new trend or whatever. We're always on a high in the beginning. I'm in the honeymoon phase with my morning routine. So let's be real about that. But so far I have surprised myself because I thought I would be kind of cranky and whiny about it. And I'm actually really enjoying it. So I just wanted to share that nerdy reflection. I've been, just thinking about it all week while I'm on my walks, and I love sharing on social while I'm on my walks, but I also like being very present in nature and very present in my solitude. So I'm trying to do a little bit of both. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 194. We are getting so close to 200 episodes. It felt like I had so long when it was 11. And now that we're getting down to almost 5 episodes, I'm like, oh shoot, I got to really start planning what we're going to do for episode 200. We have been coming up with some things behind the scenes, but yeah, very, very excited. That's a big milestone. And we're also coming up on 7 years that the Messy Success podcast has existed. 7 years. And like, there's 2 versions of me. There's the version of me that's like so proud and it feels like such an accomplishment. And then of course there's the other version of me that's like, shouldn't you have more listeners by now? Shouldn't you be getting more momentum by now? Right? Those 2 versions of ourselves are always going to be at war. And we get to choose which one that we live into. So I'm going to live into how good it feels to know that I have consistently put podcast episodes out for 7 years. And we are almost at episode 200. I think I've done the math and that averages like 2 episodes a month, which is awesome. Like, that's great. I will take it. I will take that as a W. Could we be doing on better or more efficient on the marketing side to grow the podcast? Yes, we could, but I'm only human and I'm only going as fast as the universe is putting in front of me. And it just feels so good to know that I'm worthy, that I'm enough, that I'm on my own pace, that I'm on my own journey. And I don't have to be in this like chasing some type of result or success mentality. I truly just surrender and allow and have so much fun. And that's all I want for you guys, is to have so much fun in your business, in your self-development journey, in your own version of messy success, to have so much fun. So thank you for being here. It's always fun for me. It's always an honor. Please leave us a comment or a review. We just published on YouTube and Amazon Music. So if you see us over there, say hi. Not that I know how to do that, but send me a note on Instagram or something. And thanks for pushing play today. I love you guys always.